This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
To goal! To goal! It's absolutely world class from Marcus Tunde! Terrific goal!
Johnson puts it in the air. Aidan Flynn wins the goal! It's the goal! It's still with Lee Gregory. He's in the box. Tries to screw it. Is it going to be there? Yes! Oh my word!
The Wednesday Week!
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week. My name is Dan Fudge, and tonight I'm joined by Ash, John, and Stevie. And tonight we've got 2 games to get through and a whole host of other beans on toast. John, how was your week? All right, yeah?
Yeah, good man. Yeah. Good result on weekend. So obviously sets you up nicely, doesn't it, over your weekend to get a positive result like that. So yeah, buzzing.
Yeah, it's not like you know what? I'm still hungover, Stevie. London away days have absolutely ruined me. But you were in London as well, weren't you? How was the football? All right.
Yeah, the football was all right. I didn't make it. I went to the theatre. I was at the theatre, being a fan of the Thespians.
You're so cultured and whatnot.
Yeah.
You're absolutely. Ash, how's the FOMO working out for you? All right, pal?
Awful, mate. Absolutely awful. I tell you what I wasn't FOMOing Sunday morning, Daniel. I wasn't FOMOing that because I know I would have been rough as a badgers if I'd have gone.
Before we go any further, Dan, what time did you turn up? What time did you get home on Saturday night?
So, oh God, right. Some of you know I live in Brighton, yeah, and Brighton's like it's only an hour train from that London, right? So, got up there about midday, started nice and early, got on it, and then managed to get in the managed to get a few beers at the game and all the rest of it. Then we went to town, had a couple of beers there. They were a couple of train beers and all that. And then I got home. I think it was about 8:45 in the morning. I got home because you know I work in the booze game, and you know the staff were well happy to see me because we had quite the lock-in. Yesterday was straight up dreadful, and I'm still rotting now. You know, like when the slightest inconvenience hits you on a Monday, you're already up to 11. They were up to 47. It's been bloody awful. Now, don't forget, welcome to joining us live. So if you want to get a comment in, make sure you get a comment in, and don't forget to ring the bell and like and subscribe. Is that what they say, Ash? That's what they say, isn't it?
I don't know if it goes like that, but they do go, point here to the subscribe button. And all
Smash
that,
the like button.
Smash, there we go, yeah.
All right. Now, Ash is going to be manning the comments today, so we'll be up the Shaggy Wendy's. We'll be passing over to Ash at some point during this evening. Now, first game to get to was a terrible idea by myself to go to the Leicester City to the King Power Stadium. Ash, you were there with us.
Was indeed.
What was your any preconceptions? Did you feel like we might be able to steal something from the lads, from the Foxes?
Nope, not at all. I think that my preconception probably matched quite a few Wednesdayites of I wasn't quite as bad as a cricket score, but I did think it could have been 3-4-0.
Yeah.
With that going into it, I know we had a great result, obviously, the game before against Birmingham, but Leicester did seem to be a bit of steamrolling at the minute. They did. So going into that game, yes, mate, made the trip. Yeah, it was one of those fruitless endeavours. Get to Leicester. I mean, I know it's not far for me, an hour and a half, but for you it was just slightly longer. But yes, mate, enjoyed it actually. To be honest, if you can say that against about a 2-0 loss, but yeah, I did enjoy it.
It was a hell of an away end, wasn't it? I mean, John, in terms of the timing of the game, given how close it was to the Birmingham City game, we kind of needed this like a hole in the head, or did you feel like it was a bit of a free hit?
Bit of both, really, because like you say, you want to keep momentum going. At some point, you've got to play some of the teams that are vying for promotion. And let's be fair, Leicester will walk away with this league, won't they? Even though they've had some dodgy results here and there. They're going to win it at a canter, aren't they? So, I mean, you've got to play them. In some ways, you wish you'd got a few games under your belt first, but it is what it is. And, going into that game, the expectations weren't massive, and we probably were thinking like a 3-8 kind of scenario. So, all in all, to come away, just a 2-0 loss after this, what looked like it could have been a drubbing, I think you just take it on the chin and think, well, okay, it wasn't overly bad. We move on, and that's what we did.
Well, yeah, it is really. I was actually, it was a kind of decent bounce back, I thought, but we'll get to there in a minute. Now, Stevie, excuse me, I've just smashed an entire box of these crisps that I had in New Zealand, and I've been buying them on the wholesale. They're called Shapes. I don't know if any of us had them. They're like mini cheddars, but they've got like a nacho cheese dusting on them. Oh, mate. I'm struggling as we speak. So, Stevie, I'm going to get you to talk about the starting lineup against Leicester City. How did you feel we set up? Did you feel like we'd gone for it, or did you feel like we were trying to rest a few players?
I think it was there were a couple of changes, weren't there? I think Volks came back in. I thought the Birmingham game, I know we go back to it, obviously you come out of that and then it's like you're trying to get that momentum going forwards. In terms of the starting 11, it was fine. Pervader had a cameo at Huddersfield and then come on and done particularly well against Birmingham. He was the one for me against Leicester that I was looking forward to seeing. I've said this time and again, for me, given the resource that we've got and given the stature of the manager that we've got, he can basically pick whoever he wants at the moment. And I'm not really going to have any sort of gripe about what he's doing. And it's only retrospectively that you go back and go, yeah, you shouldn't have done that, or I'd have picked somebody else, or I'd have looked at something else. So, we've got the graphic up at the moment as we're looking at it. And that looks like a strong starting 11, doesn't it? I don't necessarily think they'd set up like that. I think it was more of a two up top. I think we've done that before, where the BBC tend to say that Ugbo, if he's playing, will go out wide right. It didn't feel like that. We were probably a little bit more narrow. And I think what Danny Rule likes to do is he likes to get the fullbacks pushing on to offer that width going forward and almost an overload. I'm not saying that that's what he did against Leicester. I think we obviously set up a little bit more conservatively, but the starting 11, no complaints from me. You ask me every week, and I'll always say the same thing at the moment. He can play who he wants at the minute, and those players that are going in there are going to hopefully acquit themselves with fairly well, and as long as they turn up, so be it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Ash, the goals we conceded were frustrating, to say the least, right? And that's me being very diplomatic. And you know me, I'm known for my diplomacy,
especially towards goalkeepers, Daniel.
Right? And this is going to I'm going to plant my flag early on. I don't think that goal that you're probably referencing wasn't all Beadle's fault. I feel like he might, there was a lot happening, a lot going on. I mean, come on, tell us about the first one, though. What happened what was the first one? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was after 4.5 minutes or whatever it was. So, obviously, you're playing top of the league or in great form. You don't want to give an early goal away, do you? You don't want to give an early goal away. So, there was lots of thought about the first goal where Beadle obviously should have, or maybe should have, launched it long. But apparently that's not how Sheffield Wednesday want to play. They want to play out from the back. And we saw from the first goal against Birmingham, they played out from the back. Not quite the same sort of circumstances, but they still started from the keeper, played it out, and they ended up scoring the first goal against Birmingham. So, obviously, I think it was ball came back to Beadle, and he tried to play it to Volks, who had someone up his arse straight away already. So, you know, I get that you're bringing players out. I get all the mechanics of it. It's just when you're stood there with 2,500 other Wednesdayites going, get bloody ball forward, just oof it. And I know that's not the way they want to play, but when you concede from it, a stupid mistake, it highlights the people that want to just get it up there. Do you know what I mean?
Is it more a case of you don't disagree with the way we're playing, but you would question if we have the players to play that type of football?
Well, you could say that, but I'm sure there's stats people and look at this, that playing out from the back we've been more successful than hoofing it long type of thing. So we must have the players. Obviously, sitting in 23rd, you can argue with that argument, but it's the way that obviously it's the first 5 minutes against the top of the league. That's the frustrating bit, that they've done it, and if they'd have done it and it'd have spooned it wide or put it over a bar and we got, bloody hell, got away with that one. It's the fact that they scored top of the league, first 5 minutes that were frustrating. But it's not all Beadle's fault. Originally, I probably did. I was like, oh, F and Jeff, which you do with any mistake, don't you? But actually, in hindsight, looking at it, it wasn't. It was just a misjudgment of the way we're playing out from the back type of thing.
Yeah, there's an element of like, you know, we're doing it and it's great, but why do it against bloody Leicester? I mean, this is a team that are absolutely smashing the top of the league, and you kind of like, they're stronger, bigger, faster, more intelligent footballers. Just hoof it, just play Sunday League, lads, because, you know, I feel like it gives us a fighting chance. But I tell you what, John, there was an element to me of Leicester. I mean, let's not be honest, right? The first 5 minutes that Ash mentioned there, I turned to Holly and I went, we've had like 80% of the possession here. We're playing all right here. And then you know, sod's law, we decided to drop our own ass. But I can't remember the question I was going to ask you, John. But I feel like, do you sit in the same camp as Ash? Do you have a kind of like?
I'm sorry, mate.
I was doing really well then. I was.
It's live, mate. It's live. Don't worry.
It's live. Don't say fuck.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say about the. I know what you're saying. It's kind of almost like are you going to pick your battles and when to play that way, and you know you're going to play that way against a team like Leicester, littered with ex Premier League players, and the kind of press that a team like Leicester can put on you is always going to be dangerous, isn't it? Whereas if you're doing it against a lesser team, you might to an extent get away with it. But it's and I do wonder from that game to the one we'll come on to whether something did change a little bit, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's just because of the nature of the goal, and you're on the back foot then, and straight away after 4 minutes chasing the game against the team that you were coming into and looking, we're going to be a struggle to get a result anyway. It just gives you a real mountain to climb, doesn't it? So early in the game like that as well. So again, is it a question of do you pick your battles and decide when you're going to actually employ that kind of style of play, or is it just no, Danny Rule, this is my ethos, this is what we'll continue to do until we perfect it with the players that I've got, or so. But yeah, horrible goal to concede, really, weren't it?
It really was. Stevie, we just started to put you up on screen on your own, so that's nice, isn't it? I don't know what's happening. Ash, are you pressing buttons? So
that scared me.
For those of you that are watching Twitch, I'm wearing an oversized shirt today, and it looks like I've got one of those shrunken heads from the end of Beetlejuice. But Stevie, did you feel that that like Leicester? This is the question I was going to ask John. That Leicester didn't really get out of second gear. They didn't. You know what I mean? I feel like we conceded 2 pretty poor goals, but even if we didn't, they had another 3 or 4 gears to get up into. They kind of won at a canter, I thought.
I think if you think about it from that perspective, the fact that they were 2-0 up so early, you're always going to have that sort of situation where you think, all right, here we go. They've got another gear, and if we come back, and I think the narrative, if you like, is that from that sort of perspective of second half, we came into the game. Everybody then argues that we've come into the game because they took the foot off the pedal, and they've allowed us to get into it. Just a quick one on the playing out from the back. I would argue, and I'm going to say this, I'd argue that we haven't got the players to pump the ball forward. And I know that sounds ridiculous. We pump the ball forwards, and the ball's just coming straight back. We're literally surrendering possession. And if you
there's only one player in there you pump a ball up to in our Sheffield Wednesday squad, and he hasn't played a minute, has he?
Well, he's played a minute. He's played a minute or two, but he's not played for a while. And he's very, very good at holding the ball up. But I'd argue that's not necessarily the style of play that we're looking for. Smith may win his fair share of headers and flick-ons, but you play the ball up that way. The way that we're setting up doesn't lend itself to pumping the ball long, and we're not going to play off flick-ons and knockdowns. And we're our set piece. Sort of at both ends, our set piece play and our set piece success rate is very much maligned. And if we're not scoring goals from set plays and we're not particularly good at pumping the ball into certain areas, why is there such a clamour for us to do it? And you can look at it. There are teams all over the league that are going to try and play out from the back. And I think the pumping the ball long is quite an archaic sort of perspective and viewpoint. So, just on that first goal, I've got no issue with it. I think we played it a little bit square. And if you look back at it, I think he's actually played it to Volks's wrong side. And it's sort of fallen apart. It's not necessarily the playing out from the back. It's the way that it was executed. So that's where we are. But to go back to your original question, 3 minutes later, sorry, Dan. I don't know. I don't think we couldn't say either way whether or not they'd taken the foot off the pedal and they could have gone through the gears a little bit. The reality is they probably could, but at the same time,
they didn't need to.
They didn't need to. We were, and all right, we came back into it, and they might have allowed us to come back into it. But I think it was testament to the team, given the fact that we've shipped 4 goals on 3 occasions away from home recently.
Yeah.
And we've looked a mess doing it. Huddersfield, that 12-minute capitulation at Huddersfield will live with me, whatever league we're in next year for days. It was absolutely horrendous. So I think it's testament to the boys, and it's testament to the coaching staff and the mentality of the lads around it at the minute that we didn't fold, because we could have folded, and it could have been 4-5-0 at half time, and we stuck at its task and we cracked on.
The second half was a very good performance from us, for a team that is so good. But Ash, I'm going to come to you for comments from the interwebs. What have we got? What are the people saying?
Can I put it up?
For those listening, Syodchikin's been on and says, "Why is Ash wearing a shirt made from an old bus seat?" I was gonna make a reference to your fancy shirt, Ash, but that absolutely encapsulates it really well. Is anybody talking about the football?
Yes, Smashing Tom. Think someone smashing it from outside the box is more exciting than tapping. Same for hoof football for many people. As much as passing it out wins games, people don't find it entertaining.
I think it's got more to do with, I think a lot of us, all as kids growing up, a lot of us all play football, right? We all play Sunday morning football. And have you ever played Sunday league football and tried playing it out from the back? You are one half a step away from getting absolute pelters, and I feel like it's going to take a few years before we get used to this, because football's changed. And yeah, German Al says there, we've got a young manager who wants to play modern football. If we want hoof the ball forward, we should have gone for a manager near retirement or just somebody from our fan base, which does remind me, Roy Hodgson's lost his job today in a completely unrelated way of going. Ash, I'm going to talk to you about some statistics. I know you like stats. Here they are live on the screen now, with Leicester lion's share of the possession on 65. But interestingly enough, we had 13 shots to their 10. Do you feel like, again, we went for it a bit more in the second half? I thought it was a great performance from us on the second.
Yeah, definitely. Much improved. He brought Palmer on for Ugbo at half time. And then I think it was Wilkes and Smith came on later on. And yeah, I think it was a much improved. And I get Stevie's argument that he said earlier about obviously Leicester taking the foot off, and for me they did, and it allowed us to come in. If we'd have got one back, I'm sure they'd have put it foot down, and maybe pushed a bit more. But like the stats thing, you look at them and you're thinking, actually, we gave them a cracking game there, don't you? Apart from possession, but with more shots on target, more corners, less fouls, it puts across the stats that we held our own. Where I think,
we didn't just get battered, did we?
No, we didn't get battered. No, and we didn't. And I think that's a testament to obviously we knew we'd got bigger games coming up, i.e. Millwall, and we wouldn't have wanted to go into that 4-5-6-0. Do you know what I mean? As well, But as well, obviously, he took Paveda and Kadamata off and brought Wilkes and Smith on, which is not just putting 6 at the back type of stuff either. He's swapped like for like virtually. And it worked.
Yeah.
So for me, I enjoyed it, and you said it in the intro, but the fans, that away end, that Tuesday night was fantastic. Absolutely one of the best all season. I've got to say, I really enjoyed it. It was good.
There was comments on that as well, Ash. They were saying, Leicester was saying that was the best away support at the King Power for a good while, they were saying. So
To be fair, John, there was a good amount of I want to say gallows humour. You know what I mean? We weren't turning up for we weren't turning up for a kickoff. We were like, I tell you what, this is what's happening. Has somebody still got their mobile phone off on flight mode? By the way, who's not turned their phone on silent? This is like being on a Zoom call at work. This, isn't it? Is it you, Ash? Yeah.
No, mine's off.
It's getting worse. Why is it getting worse? I'm going to throw mine to the other side of the room there. So, apologies for that, ladies and gents, if you did hear that. But, we are a bunch of shit kickers in our own house. Listen,
it's only episode 400 and God knows what. You thought we'd be used to it by now, wouldn't you?
In it. What are the comments from the interwebs we got, Smash?
So we've got Holly, friend of the show.
You've got to read it in her accent.
No, I'm not. I think I
want you to read it in her accent, just for her.
Are you ready? Ready?
You're the best at this.
This is Ollie. Right, no, I think we're all traumatised from years of watching Wednesday when he was what ballers found that humanly possible. But panic! You can hear it in crowd every time, even when it's successful. Yeah, that's good, isn't it? That's Ollie.
You're all shit!
Craig says he changed his system and went to 3 at the back, and we looked much better, hence stuck with it at Millwall and got a result. So you could say he actually pre-planned a little bit, looked a bit forward, in-game management type of thing.
Look at us.
I know. Martin, we just don't have the composure at the back for me not to in every time.
I tell you what, Martin, do you think the fans don't have the composure or the players? Because I know I bloody don't. The players might think different.
German Al said the away end on iFollow sounded amazing.
That was just Holly. That was just Holly on her own. Right then, so
I think we've got the comment. We've got the comment of the night up to now.
Already?
Yep. Hi, Mom. I was going to ask if you sell Viagra, as I'm 73. She gave me the horn, so I suppose I should pay you $30. I do not know what that means, but
is that from Facebook?
That's from Facebook.
Normally on Facebook, it's people's nans sharing missing dogs from places like Minnesota, saying shared Maltby. You know what I mean? Isn't that normally what it is?
Yeah.
All right, keep comments.
Elon Musk bots have had a takeover of the other side of social media, aren't they?
Keep the comments coming in, folks. They're always a lol, and we'll read them out in Ollie's voice if that's what you want. Now, listen, let's move on to that London. Listen, we took a 2-0 loss against Leicester. We did have a comment earlier on about Jamie Vardy's celebration. It was significantly mooted for a JV celebration because normally he goes absolutely mental, but he did that kind of patting it down to try and move away. But it's not like he's not going to celebrate. But there was an issue in the away end where there was a group of people singing Jamie Vardy is one of our own, but then the people behind us were getting very angry about it and they're going, what are you bloody talking about, one of our own? He's playing for them, bloody hell. Go and suck his dick or something, bloody hell. There were a lot of that, a lot happening. A lot of people not really realizing what the gag was, and then it all just got quite vitriolic after a while because we're all from Yorkshire, right? Speaking of Yorkshire, we've gone down to the capital. We're having a day out, John. Here's the starting lineup against Millwall. Now, before we get into that, what was your preconceptions about this game? How did you feel it was going to go?
I felt quite confident actually, Dan, because I felt this is the prior to this match, Danny was saying, right, we're all about the performance, of course, but now it's more about the results. And I thought, okay, all right, what's going to change here then? Obviously, we need the results, obviously, but what's he got in mind here? And we knew, mathematically, it's a game now. We're running out of games. It's one of these that we must be targeting when you look at the fixtures and think, right, this is a game we've got to win, really. At the very least, don't lose, but preferably win. So I felt quite confident that he were holding something back in, and he targeted this fixture after Leicester as a game where he was going to go down there and be positive and try and get the win. Pre-match I was feeling quite confident. Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what? I kind of agree with you, John. I was feeling like we might be able to get something because they got absolutely smashed the game before they played us, and the progressive football that their new gaffer is trying to get them to play isn't landing just yet. You know, some people would argue out there that Danny's probably had the same issue, or definitely Chisco had the same issue, but nothing like that. They've really fallen down, and they're going to be looking over their shoulder. I mean, Ash, you posted a tweet out today talking about the remaining fixtures from all the clubs in and around the quagmire, and there are a few teams there that have got a lot worse of running than we have.
Well,
Stevie,
next 6 games. It's just the
yes,
next 6. Yeah, sorry.
I'll tell you what, if you don't mind digging that graphic out, Ash, while I talk to Stevie, and then we can see if we can get that up, and we'll talk about that in a bit, actually. Now, Stevie, this is, again, I've ripped this from BBC Sport. I don't know how true it's going to be in terms of lineup, but we did go with 5 at the back with a couple of attacking wingers, attacking fullbacks. Now, there was an interesting one for me, because against Leicester, I thought Paul Valentin was pretty average. I thought he was pretty poor. However, this game on Saturday, he was excellent, I thought, and Volks was very good. Obviously, we'll get to the main performers in terms of the scoreline, but any change the system. Do you think he learned something at Leicester?
Possibly. I think the 3 at the back, the 3 centre halves, allows him to be a little bit more progressive in terms of the wing backs, playing Valentin and Johnson a little bit more advanced, with Pavida. I don't know how you pronounce it, sorry. And Masaba going out sort of wide either side. I saw an interesting stat from the data guy, TW Football, who was sort of arguing that whilst we set up in that way, playing Palmer as a right centre back allowed Valentin to be a little bit more advanced, and Palmer actually spent if you look at the average positions on the pitch, Palmer was almost playing as a right back at times, and Valentin was playing as a right midfielder. So this setup allowed us to do that going forwards, whilst also offering the insurance. And I'll say it, that's probably one of the reasons that Palmer got in over Diaby. I was quite surprised to see Palmer going in, and I was expecting a lot more grief in the group chat from certain people about Palmer playing centre half, on Saturday. But we've set up like that, and I thought it's come to fruition. It's come to pass that was obviously the right decision, the right way that we've attacked and approached the game.
Absolutely. I tell you what, I've got to have a big shout out here for Ihekwe at the back, because I thought he was sublime. Very rarely, but him and Dishon at the back were very good, and Palmer didn't really put a foot wrong either. There was a superhuman effort at the back of the back line for Wednesday, and we had Darren Moore try it, we had Chisco try it, who tried to stop this 5 at the back game, and then always ended up coming back to it. So I feel like we're going to have to just allow it. And this current crop of players we've got, with some of the older ones and some of the new guys, I think we just need to allow it until we get some significantly better players. And 5 at the back for me seems really well. Sorry,
mate. I just think that we've set up. It's difficult because it was an away game, but the fact that we were playing Millwall, who were the team, they're the team this week who are in free fall. Next week it'll probably be Stoke. We've had Huddersfield doing it. We've had QPR. We've had 4 or 5 teams that we've been chasing to try and catch. I think from my perspective, I've said this on the podcast previously, anything that we can pick up away is a bonus. We've got to concentrate on the home results. If we get outstanding home results for the rest of the season, we're going to stay up. If we can pick up points here and there, so be it. Leicester was a free hit because of the nature of who they were. But what I would say is, there felt like there needed to be, and I was loath to say it, it wasn't a 6-pointer. It was a 6-pointer. It was. But it was a game that we needed to win. The reality was, if we'd have not won, we'd have been miles off it. And other teams around it, it's even more out of our hands. So the fact that we've set up with that 3, I'm not necessarily sure that we'll set up in that way on Saturday against Bristol City when we're at home. We've got a different team, a different setup. I might be wrong. He might find a different sort of a formula for the home games than he does away. But we've set up and we've become very compact. We'll get into it. It was quite drab before the goal, but we've gone in there with a game plan.
Yeah.
I'll take that all day, drab. I'll take drab and 3 points.
Yeah.
Not in that shirt, you won't, Ash. Bloody hell. There's nothing drab about this guy right now. His party shirt on.
It's not. It's just a nice little polo look. And it's not a bus seat; it's a train seat. A man who works on trains, and it's a bit of.
They had a bit of material left over, so they
Yeah.
there you are, Ash. I've sorted you a gift out. What's the
There's
interweb saying, Smash?
There's a lot of love for Valentin, and I've got to agree. I've got to say it's probably been his one of his best games. I did like him. I thought he did the basics well, but also with an attacking threat.
Ash, while I've got you, who's got the worst haircut? Is it Pervader or Valentin?
Pervader all day long, man.
He does look like a Lego man, doesn't he? What else we got on the interwebs? Go on.
Like I said, Happy Valentine Day. I quite like that one. It was good. Here we are on about Pervader. That image of Pervader just nonchalantly sat on the wall in front of their fans' class. Yeah, I don't know who took it, but I did nick it and retweet it. So apologies to whoever did that. It was a cracking photo. So brilliant. It was, and he's looking good, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know
I think he's a player that we've been missing.
I'm just going to take you off, right? Does anybody or did anyone used to watch like Jeremy Vine or the Jeremy Kyle show?
Is that your role right now?
They always cut to the other presenter, the lady on the phones, manning that. That's how I feel like I'm at the minute.
You know what, Ash? I'll not lie to you. When we started doing these live shows, and I thought the comments really put me off while I'm trying to host, and if I could have somebody else doing it, that'd be mint. That is exactly the program I was thinking of. Where they go, so when Jeremy Vine rather goes, so what's happening? What are the people out there saying? Like I've got to worry about Sue from Plymouth and what she thinks about the absurdity of Boris Johnson. Like I give a shit about her opinion on the news. But we're really interested in what you've got to say about the news. Go on, Ash. What else are the internet saying?
You've got Robbo 0114. 3 at the back allows Johnson to get forward and deliver quality balls in. Also allows a bit more freedom for our wingers.
That's interesting, actually, Ash. So against Leicester, I was getting a bit frustrated. I don't know. And again, this isn't a slight on Marvin Johnson. I felt there was a couple of times where he could have absolutely kicked it out from under his feet and hit that byline, but he seemed to stop. Now, whether Ruler told him that, don't leave the defence, stranded a bit, but I think there's a few times where I kind of went, hit that bloody byline, Marv. Get right on it and get one in, because Kadamachi was kind of lost out there. It wasn't his best game for us, but I don't feel like he was kind of working on scraps a little bit. So, John, let's get to the statistics at Millwall, because we had a great day out. I proper enjoyed myself, but again, the stats tell a bit of a different story.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at that, it doesn't look like, to me, like the performance that we put in. It just looks like the 2 shots and 2 goals and that's it. But I thought, we knocked it about really well after that first goal, and I think early exchanges were really kind of like 2 teams that looked really nervous. They were running about like 100 mile an hour and misplacing passes and stuff, and kind of cancelling each other out. But Then, as we got more into the game, and Masaba, he did that lovely nutmeg and surged down the wing, and then just the perfect ball in for Ugbo. Then once we got his noses in front, I thought particularly the rest of the first half we were actually in control, weren't we? But them stats don't really tell the whole picture for me. I thought we were,
I think, John, I think you could swap
much more
these...
in control. I didn't see Millwall ever scoring.
I think you could swap these stats with the Leicester stats, and then swap the scores round, and you'd think this was the Leicester stats, and the others was ours against Millwall, because we were more dominant, as stats say, against Leicester, and then Millwall and against us. But I think I was going to comment on Ugbo on the first goal. I love the fact that he attacks that ball.
Oh,
for his second against Birmingham, where obviously the cross came in, attacks the ball, and the same again with that one. I saw Pervader. If you just watch him, when the ball comes in, he makes a forward run. Cooper tracks him, steps forward, and then Ugbo is always going to win that ball against that defender, isn't he? I mean, and I thought the movement, the play by Masaba was fantastic to not make that guy, and then just head down, forward, cross it in, simple stuff in it. 1-0.
When when yeah, that was me. That was me. Bash! I was absolutely off my tits at this point. Bash! Meg nuts! It's all I was shouting. Debbie, my head is not okay. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Nurofen and or some ibuprofen and all. Don't take drugs, kids. Yeah, I'm having a bad time of it. There's one there from Martin, Ash. What's that one there? I think, was it Martin I was speaking to at the ground? I'm sorry, I didn't have your name. That's really poor form of me. But he said, did I get Blair home safely? Jury's out on that one. I don't know. But there was
I don't think we've heard from him since, have we?
There was a point where he was calling his missus, and Blair, I'm going to absolutely stitch him up. If anybody from Blair's work here is listening, this is going to be hilarious, right? So there was a point where we decided we'll wait for everybody to try and get a train out of Millwall's up All Lake. And there was Blair on the phone to his missus going, just log in, computer password saved, just log in, and I need to move the mouse every about 3 minutes. Just get out. I think Geese is absolutely right. He's got his eyes have gone like, you know what I mean. So we were in the boozer in the Barra Boy after the game, wow. And I was like, "Are you all right?" He goes, "I've got to work." So whether I don't know if he made it. We've not heard from him, Martins, but I'm sure he appreciates your concern. So what else we got, Ash? I've seen a couple coming in.
Yeah, well, Sharman, bugger. I'm late evening. Beautiful.
I outed because of Sharman's profile picture. I outed him as a female last week. My apologies, Sharman. Sorry about that, bro.
Just while you're looking at that, can we just pontificate a little bit more about Ugbo and talk about the fact that he might be that striker? I'm
going to give you the soapbox because that was on my notes this evening to talk about him. I loved it. Out of the 4 goals he scored, 3 of them he's ended up with him and the ball in the back of the net. Big fan of his.
Yeah, he's at the time you kind of you look at it when because I think he came in early, didn't he, in January, and we were expecting this whole raft of transfer activity. We got Beadle in, and he was going to be recruitment guy. Beadle, he was going to come in, and we were going to get 6 or 7 over the line. We were going to let 6 or 7 others go. Mm-hmm. There was going to be an entire squad overhaul, and then we got to transfer deadline day, and the longer that we went waiting for that striker, that keynote signing, that player that marquee sort of number, we were there, weren't we? And we wanted it, and because of that. And because we got Ugbo in so early, we kind of went, well, Ugbo's just he's kind of maybe just a squad player, and we're looking for that, the youth player from Man United, Man City that's going to come in and make a name for himself like others have in the past. And his record wasn't great if you look at it from Cardiff. I don't think he's not exactly been prolific previously.
He's got 6 in 22. I think it was.
Yeah, whatever it is, the numbers aren't phenomenal, are they? But I tell you something, he came in, he looked busy in his first game. Forgive me, I can't remember which one that was. It might have been a cup game against Coventry. I'll stand corrected. He's done bits. He didn't look great against Huddersfield, but I think we've deployed him. We talked about that. We deployed him in a wrong sort of way. He doesn't play well with Smith up top or off Smith. The way that we're deploying him at the moment and the way that he's sort of settled in, particularly the Birmingham game and on Saturday, he now seems to be that guy. If you look at his movement, we're talking about him scoring from a yard out. If you look at the movement, as soon as Masaba kicks that ball 5-6 yards in front of him on that left-hand side for the first goal, there's a shift where he just accelerates and he times his run to perfection, and he hits that area, and he is... From a data point of view, he is just going to be the right person in the right place at the right time. And if we can find that right place at that right time with balls from Masaba, Gassama, Windass when he's fit, Bannon, whoever it may be, this guy will get double figures for us. I'll call it now. He will get double figures for us between now and the end of the season.
Oh, it's a bold claim, that, Stevie, isn't it? I like it.
I have nothing to add. I think he's right. I think he's spot on. I think he's the biggest threat we've got. And as much as our fans are kind of like, oh, it's a shame on Lee Gregory, it is. But given the way that Ugbo started and Gassama kind of picked up a bit of form, didn't he? Just as the decisions were being made, I feel like Gregory did drop down that pecking order a little bit. Would you agree, John?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. But like we were saying about Ugbo attacking the ball, if you remember the goal against, I think it was Birmingham, where he's that lofted cross to the back post and he just powers his way in, doesn't he? And he's
Still maintain it was a foul, though.
You reckon? I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those. He's determined. I'm getting to that ball before you are, and that's going in. So he does have that sense, and you could see, like Stevie said, you could see on that Millwall game that when Masaba beat his man, when he nutmegged him, he set off. You saw Ugbo looking and following, and then slowing down, sort of checking his run, and then just burst into that far post when he knew the cross was coming in, and it was virtually a tapping, wasn't it? So it's definitely like we've been saying about this recruitment guy coming in and what we were going to get, and then we didn't get anybody as such, and then they're asking him about a free agent market, and again, people mentioning Dwight Gale, etc., and then we might have just got the answer right under his noses. It might just be Ugbo. It might just be.
Oh, hang on. Time. We had a mention of Dwight Gale there, didn't we? Hold tight.
The rumour mill.
I can't be peddling any rumours on here without getting that out. That's my allegedly get out of jail free card. Now let's go. I tell you what. Listen, I'm gonna talk about a couple of players here.
Oh,
go on, Ash.
I've got some messages about Ugbo again.
Go on.
If you just want to do it, I see. Here we are. This is a thought from Mike. In fact, Masaba and Ugbo have played together in Belgium. Is massive. They'll know how to play with each other. They have a really good record in Belgium too.
Oh, Masaba was one of the players I was going to speak about, actually, Ash, because I think him and Ugbo, what's this one here? Good that Masaba and Ugbo have played together. Yeah. And you know what? It really shows. It really shows. Just like John was saying there's a point where one's broken and the other geezer kind of knows what he's doing. And you know, stuff like that you can't buy. I'd love to say me and Ash were like that when we used to play football together when we were about 14, 15. But listen, what's that? Ugbo is what we've been missing along with Pavedo. Are we on for the Great Escape? I hope so. I think I was speaking to Karen on the day as well. She's a big fan, and her and her fella sit and watch us in bed. So that's nice, isn't it? So listen, just put some candles on. Bit of Kenny G. Listen to the warm sounds of Dan Fudge coming in your ears. Here we go.
Right, doing his Fanseri voice.
Yeah. Hey, listen, just give her a little massage.
That's 50 quid.
Yeah.
It wasn't her. After all that.
I know that there are people who watch us in bed because I've just realised that I kind of realised that on a very small level. You know, like and I said this at the time, you can imagine Steve Coogan walking down the street and people are behind him and go, aha, all the time. When you go to an away game, you will find people going, the Wednesday week behind you, which I didn't know if I found annoying or kind of inflated my head somewhat. But if you are in bed listening to us, welcome to the party. Welcome to Fudge's Deep Bath. Welcome to what's going on. Listen, I'm talking about these players. Right, so Masaba had a great game. Paveda plays like a kid on the park, and he's exciting to watch. And when he cuts in from that right-hand side, which is where he tends to go, it's genuine, like exciting. But we don't do it enough on this show, and we should do. But Barry Bannon, for me, when he gets the ball, it's like it sticks to him, and there's like an expectation that rises above the crowd. And a few of the balls, and he was tackling hard as well on Saturday. He clearly wanted it, and I feel like it's about time I gave Bannon a shout out on this show.
Was he on a yellow card as well? Has he got 9 yellow cards as well? I think
could have been
put it out. Yeah.
Could have been, but he was honestly very good, and he is very good every week. And sometimes, you know, when somebody who's usually a bit average has a good game, we wax lyrical about him. But do you know what? Our captain did an absolute solid on Saturday, and he was outstanding. And I just don't feel like he gets enough credit on what he does.
Yeah, and if you notice as well, after that first goal, Dan, did you notice how everybody just and Bannon was like one of the instigators of it. Everybody just seemed to settle and calm. They were doing back heels. They were doing one touch. They were basically taking the piss. I mean, and he was leading it. That was Bannon. He was the centrepiece of it all. So yeah, I agree.
And yeah, that ball there that Fordyce put on there, defence splitting pass from Bannon, was absolutely sublime. We were kind of sat behind it on our end, and again you go, good Lord, that's a good ball. And all of a sudden you're up and everybody's excited. And I just feel we don't mention you enough, Barry. My apologies, because obviously he's watching, right? Probably in bed, right? But I just wanted to say, like,
no.
Fair play, Baz. I'm not going to do the gag. Ash, talk to me about the internet, quick.
We've got Mr. J. Bannon's fitness for his age is something he doesn't get enough praise for.
Absolutely.
I think we met. It was last season. So the pre-season last season, Palmer did all his 10K a day, and his fitness last season was immense.
And all of a sudden, Liam Palmer's jacked now. I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but
I've noticed.
Yeah, of course, yeah. He's really filled out. He's filling the sleeves up of that shirt really well. Go on, Ash.
I've got a question that's been brought by Stephen. Even sorry, apologies. Just thought I'd chuck a question while I'm on a break. Would you keep Danny and get relegated, or lose him and stay up? I'll leave that with you. Catch up with the pod later. Best get back to work.
Oh God! Yeah, Stevie, you can pick that one up first. Go on.
Grenade and Annie and gone. I'm walking.
Just dropped it. Just dropped that in the chat and then disappeared. I would. It's a head and heart one, isn't it? I think if you were looking at it pragmatically, you'd say let him go and stay up. And you let him go and stay up. The reason that I say that is that if we go down next year, I think we're in the shit. And I think we are. I don't think he stays for the full season. And as it stands at the moment, I'd be happy to see him at the start of next season, whatever league we're in. Because I think the job that he's doing, and I know that there's been a couple of graphics, and I've seen some bits on my own personal breaks at work today where people have been talking about the standard of job he's done. And I think there's a stat that's done the rounds over the last couple of days that said we'd have been 15th with him. If we start the season when Rule came in, would have been 15th. And the fact that he's done it with a squad that's been put together that isn't necessarily the best squad in the world. I think there are people outside of Sheffield Wednesday that don't realise the job that he's doing. And I think when people find, absolutely. I saw Gaz Robbo put something on today about Sunderland losing their manager, and it was like, "Don't you fucking dare!" And that suddenly resonated with me, and it just made me think, we'll get to the end of the season, and when people are looking for another manager, we stay up. It wouldn't surprise me if we've got a Sunderland, or it wouldn't surprise me if we've got a Burnley coming down, or a not Crystal Palace because they've just appointed somebody else, but that ilk and that sort of level and profile of club will come sniffing for Danny Rule. And I sat there and thought, even if he was the most loyal manager in the world, with due respect to what we've got at this club, we are papering over the cracks to an extent in terms of finance. We're papering over the cracks in terms of salaries. We're papering over the cracks in terms of the ownership and so forth. It doesn't leave a great deal for us to put on the table if somebody came in and said, right, here you go, Dan, I'll give you £3 million a year to come and manage this team with a parachute payment coming down. Whether that be a Luton or not, you know what I mean. So what are we going to do to entice this manager and these coaches to stay with us next year? So to go back to the question, my answer would be, we have to stay up if it means losing Danny Rule, because I just feel that we are on borrowed time with this guy because he's too big for us.
But also, if we're going down, why are we keeping the manager?
We're keeping the manager. If we go down, we're keeping the manager because the Chisco in the first 10 games. That's it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But,
absolutely. Now, go on, Ash.
I totally agree. I think we have to stay up. And for all what he's done in the last 4 or 5 months, I'd let him go with a big open heart and a big thank you and all that, because of the hope and the belief he's given the fans and the team is been fantastic over the last God knows how long. I saw a stat as well earlier on. I don't know how true it is that the TV money for next season, if it's League One, it's 780 grand. If it's Championship, it's 5.2 million. Now, I know we're not idiots, but that's a lot of money into. That's $4.5 million deficit that somebody has to find.
And Ash is making his shirts out of bus seats, so we ain't got it. Don't come on us for it, chance here. We bloody all fire. I tell you what, Ash, let's get your fixtures graphic up if you want to bosh that up, and then I'll let you talk about it, bro.
So here we go. So we've got the fixtures for the next 6 games. So I put this up on our socials earlier, and actually it got some traction. It got some comments. So thank you everyone watching, listening. So obviously the next 6 games for Sheffield Wednesday are, we start off with Bristol on Saturday, Rotherham, Plymouth, Leeds.
Bristol City.
Yeah. Don't just say Bristol, Ash. We'll get a load of angry side.
We'll get the we'll do the Sheffield FC thing, won't there? There'll be a Bristol FC that gets Leeds United, Ipswich Town, Swansea City.
I would argue that 3/4 of them are winnable for Sheffield Wednesday. We'll give ourselves a fighting chance. I think Leeds are a big ask, and I'd even argue that Ipswich are a big ask away at Portman Road. But Bristol City at home, Rotherham away, Plymouth away. God, we don't like going down
Plymouth
there.
Home.
Oh, is it home? That sorry,
I couldn't fit Argyle in the graphic. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, Plymouth. Right. Okay. Yeah, I get you.
I didn't want to disrespect them. Plymouth FC or something.
And then Swansea at home. I feel like there's just 12 points available there that we could have to be conservative, but I'd take 8 from it. I mean, who do you think's got the worst run in there, Ash?
So for them that are not watching, not listening, so we've got Huddersfield, Millwall, QPR, Stoke, and Rotherham. Yes, I know there's other teams that may get sucked in, but this was just the 6 that were bottom 6 at the minute. So for me, I think I'm going to say Millwall, and they are the ones that are in a bit of poopy at the minute, aren't they? So I think Millwall are going to be struggling. I think they probably will get rid of the manager, and they'll have the new manager bounce.
Well, it's nice for somebody to have a new manager bounce, not just before they play us, isn't it, to be fair? Can you... it is very professional, isn't it, Natty? Someone's just put a comment in there, and Ash already pop it up so you can...
Of course.
You can read his praise there. What about you, John? Is there anything there, any major concerns in there? Do you feel like we've got, I won't go as far as saying the easiest running, but we've got some that we can take some points from there. I wouldn't want to be a Stoke fan, and I think Millwall are in bloody trouble. What do you reckon?
Yeah, with respect, I think for me, I think Rotherham are gone. I think they've already gone. I think they're too far behind to get themselves out of the bottom 3. And with the Millwall thing, I listened to the iFollow on it, and it got the Millwall commentators on, and they were saying, if they lost to that game, which they obviously did, they were worried that they were getting sucked into it, and they were going to find themselves having a dogfight down here with the rest of us. But it's a 6-game span now, which there are some games in there that you look at and think, well, why not now? The way the confidence will be good from having a away victory and a clean sheet as well, which is key as well. I think there's games in there we can target and look at and I think, is it 3 out of 4 of them are at home as well, or got a majority?
4 out of
1, 2,
6.
Yeah, 4 out of 6 at home as well, which is key. I think the upcoming Bristol City game as well. I think there's they're doing a special offer on the tickets, so they're trying to get the attendance up for that one, so the crowd can play their part as well. So looking at those, I think we can. It's a good span when you look at it. It's an opportunity here with these 6 games coming up that we need to capitalise on if we've got designs on getting out of the mire.
I took a quick look game by game, as in week by week. I know some are midweek for teams, but if you just take Saturday, Bristol, Watford, Southampton, Rotherham, Cardiff, and Ipswich. I think we've got I know QPR and Rotherham play each other. I think we've got the easier teams because Millwall are away at Southampton, Huddersfield are away at Watford, and Stoke are away at Cardiff. So if you just take those, I think if you go game by game, we get 3 points there. I think we're right up it.
Are you suggesting that once again for about the 7th game running that this game against Bristol City is a potential 6-pointer?
It's not because they're safely mid-table.
Yeah.
But in the
grand scheme of things, because QPR just don't stop winning. Now, Stevie's going to probably go on a big long diatribe about it's not linear and you just got to take it as you come. But we get it, Steve. We're just trying to get excited about something. But thank you for that, Ash. If you want to have a closer look at that graphic, Ash has got it on the socials and yeah, take a look because tell me what you think, because I think we've got one of the easier 6-game periods coming up. Go on, Steve.
Do you know what I worry about the most?
Rotherham.
Because
they won it.
The result, the fixtures. Yeah.
That Rotherham game scares me to death because we go in there. The rest of them, if we lose at home to Leeds, so be it. They're second in the league, they're pushing, and as long as we put in a performance, blah blah blah. Same with Ipswich. As much as it pains me with the Ipswich game, they're up and about it, aren't they? And they've had a phenomenal season. Fair play. The rest of the games on paper, we're sitting here now saying are winnable, and there's an expectation already that we're going to beat Rotherham. We're going to roll over. I think they've only won 3 games all season. I think they've lost 6 on the bounce or whatever it may be. We're at their place. They've got 2 things that they're going for, aren't they? They want to not be the worst team in the league or the worst team in terms of points, but the last thing that they're clinging on to right now is getting one over on us. And I genuinely think that Rotherham is a lot tougher game, or it will be a lot tougher game than people are giving it credit for.
What's Paul said there, Ash?
We will be to Leeds what Forest Green were to us last season. Spoilers.
I love the way he's written spoilers on the end, like the season's already written out. Big fan of that. Now, listen, we're getting that Fleetwood, Coventry. There's 3 teams that still give me nightmares now. Listen, Stevie, I'm going to give you an opportunity. I'll come to you first, John. Go on.
I was going to say, if you want to come back to me before, if we still got time, I did a little bit of research into, how many, what teams went down with what points totals and what we're currently on points per game to see us to the magical 50-point mark, which might not be needed anyway. But
right, hang on. I wish I'd had a theme tune ready for that. There, one of us has done some research and some notes. Ladies and gentlemen, please.
It's a rumor, Dan. It's a rumor. It's a rumor. It's a rumor.
The rumor mill. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wednesday week. Apparently, we've got a large rumour that one of us has done some homework. John, if you made notes, I'd love to hear them. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I just obviously only looked at the last 5 seasons to not get too bogged down in these things. But so last season, the points total to stay up was 49. In 21-22, it was only 41. 2021 was 44. 19-20 season was 49 again, so pushing that 50-point mark. And then the 18-19 season was 44. Wednesday stand on 29 points currently, with 13 games left, I believe, which averages out at 1.61 points per game. That's if you're aiming for the 50-point mark, which I personally don't think it'll take this season. I think it might be around 44, 45 mark again. So that could mean we only need another maybe 5 or 6 wins. Easy when you say it quick, but obviously, when we look at the fixtures that Ash put up earlier, and we're targeting some of those fixtures to try and haul ourselves out of it, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, isn't there? If we don't get too carried away, obviously there's still a lot of games to play, but you can see where I'm going with it.
I tell you what, that was impressive, John. And normally I'd usually want to hear it from Mr. Spence, who sits in the bath and makes notes such as that, but he's done fuck all homework. He's on half term, as you can tell. So you know what I mean. He's done
back at work today, mate.
Boo, boo, Mr. Spence. Boo. So John, I appreciate that. So you're telling me there's a chance, and we're going to stay up. And if if you don't believe we're going to stay up, make sure you're at John on X and have a tear it with him. Ollie's gone with, don't get your hopes up. When you can smell it, that's when everything goes to shit. Everybody just lose all hope when we see what happens when music stops. That's what Ollie said. So that's what's happening. Now, Stevie, I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak for a very long time while you explain the rules to us on what we're launching in about 3 weeks' time. ladies and gents, pin your lugholes back. Steve is gonna wants to play a game.
I've not revised the rules. I just wrote them down and gave them to you lot. Yeah, we. I know that we've got a lot going on at the minute, and it is by design. For everything that's going on off the pitch at the minute. On the pitch, off the pitch. We are in a little bit of a hole, but I think as a podcast, we've worked really hard this year to sort of try and give something back to the community. We've launched the community initiative, which was Ash's idea. He's got it off the ground, and we've done some fantastic stuff, and we've raised some really a decent amount of money to give some opportunities and experiences to people that might not necessarily be in a situation that they'd be not ordinarily in a situation that they'd be able to experience a match day experience, or being able to afford a shirt or something like that. And we're trying to keep that going. I know we're getting towards the sort of the dregs of the season, but we do want to keep pushing. We do want to keep going. So we've over the weekend, I've put it to the big bosses, Dan and Ash, that we launch a last man standing competition. If you are on X, Twitter, you're a bloke that goes to the pub, or a lady that goes to the pub, and you get involved in these things, you'll be aware that last man standing competitions are all about. The premise of it being that if we can get as many people involved in this competition, our jackpot will be greater. We're looking to give out a prize of 70% of the money that we receive, with 30% of it going back into our community initiatives, which will then, in terms of transparency, be subsequently used for further opportunities. And we have got other things that we've got planned in terms of trying to find out how that money will be spent. I'm not going to say that tonight, because there are other things that are going on, and that will come. However, just to give you a sort of an idea behind it, if we had, for example, 50 people that would enter, that's £500 that would go into a pot. Of the £500, 70% of that, and I can't do the maths off the top of my head while I'm talking.
I was going to say, Steve, the fact that you picked 500 quid.
It's true. I know. As soon as I said it, I thought, fucking hell. School teacher. £350 would go to the winner. So it's a decent wedge of money, and it's a good laugh. It gets people involved. It's a way for us as well to maybe, as time goes on, we're not saying that this will happen, but potentially it offers another avenue for us to get feedback from you guys in terms of what you'd want to see from us as a podcast. As you can see on the graphic, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, it does say, and we'll keep pushing this to our socials, if you pay your money and you use your phone number as a reference, you will be added to a WhatsApp group. The WhatsApp group will then have updates. It's not going to be something where we're constantly talking about the games, and we're constantly talking about everything else. What we are going to be doing is saying, here we go. We need your update. We need your entries. We need your selections. You pick a team. If that team wins, you go through to the next round. If your team loses, you go out. And we keep going until we've got one person left out of the number of entrants that we've taken on already. There are people in the WhatsApp group that we've set up already. It's made a really strong start. We are going to go until the 8th of March. The deadline will probably be, I haven't discussed this with Dan and Ash, but the deadline will probably be 5th of March, I would have said, which will give people time to get their selections in, give me time to set up the spreadsheet, give us time to make sure that we've got everything as robust as it needs to be in terms of collecting that money and making sure that everything's above board and transparent, which is what we're going to be. Again, at the bottom of the graphic, you can see that we've got that little sort of logo for the Gamble Aware. We're not pushing this on anybody. If you can't afford it, please don't get yourselves into a situation where you're chucking money at stuff that is a little bit tight. This is purely for fun. It's something that we want people to sort of engage with and see if that's just another string to our sort of bow.
Stevie, it's brilliant. I think it's a great idea. So get yourselves involved. Keep an eye on the socials for the bank account details. Send it to Ash. Ash is our purse strings guy. He's the bursar. He's in charge. And again, you pay 10 quid, you pick a team every week, and it is literally last man standing. I've got 2 more points of business for you this evening. Just before we talk about Bristol City coming up, Ash, I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk about your thing, because again, there's a lot going on, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting a bit preachy, this, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm going to give you 30 seconds, Ash. Go on.
It's not really my thing, it's our thing. So you may have seen on socials last few weeks, we've teamed up with the Sheffield Wednesday Community Programme to set up an egg drop. So Easter egg drop this coming Saturday, Bristol City, outside the Mega Store from round about 12-ish. So anybody who's there early, come on, drop an egg off, and you'll be put into a draw to win a Sheffield Wednesday home or away shirt. So come on down, come and see the guys. There'll be a few of us there. Bring an egg, doesn't matter, 50p, a pound, 50 quid egg, whatever you want. If you can afford it, whatever, just bring it down. We'll be there, and that's for Bristol City. It'll be the Plymouth home game and a Leeds game as well. So thank you very much.
So there you go. Bring yourself an Easter egg to the football, and we'll look after it for you. And there might be a visit from the Easter Bunny there, depending if she's got a terrible accent or not. All right, then. So
I'm coming. I'll be there Saturday.
Ollie, don't stand for this, Ollie. God, this is bad.
In it. Right, John, talk to me about Bristol City coming up. Now, we owe them one, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and it's one of those teams when I'm never quite sure what to make when there's a team that's not going to go up and not going to go down. How soon is it? Are they on the beach kind of thing, isn't it? And they're always. I never know what to make of teams like that, because you hope that they just don't give a toss because they're not going up or going down. But then also they could play quite freely, couldn't they? And you could end up thinking, "Oh, these don't care," and they could turn you over. But I do think we are going to take some confidence from that Millwall game. I do think coming home we're a different animal, and I do believe that with the extra bums on seats, with a crowd should be a bigger crowd. I'm feeling confident, like I were Millwall. I'm starting to think that we might be turning a corner, and hopefully that will continue with the Bristol game. They've got nothing to play for, and we're fighting for his lives, and I think we should be confident, and I think we're going to win.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying 2-0.
2-0 the Wendy. What about you, Stevie? Body's gone 2-0. Stevie made a Trump noise.
2-1.
2-1. Stevie's gone 2-1. Ash, what about you, brother?
Well, I'm going to say that it's a different team that played Bristol away, isn't it? And we all remember the Bannon incident, the red card, which we were well in the game, even as poor as we were playing. I think, like John says, it'll be a different animal at home. It's I think the club announced that it's the cheap tickets as well for members. I think it's 20 quid in the cop. So look at Chance here, eh?
It's like he's learning. It's like he's learning.
Still 20 quid though, isn't it? But you've got to be a member, I believe. So
brilliant. So pay a £5 to get a £5 discount.
No, I think it's 70 quid or 50 quid to be a member now. Something like that. Yeah. I know. Well, take with one.
What do we get for that?
Give with one, take with the other. I think you get discount on tickets. I think you get a birthday card or something like that. I don't know.
I'd want a rusty trombone from Ozzy Owl for paying that amount of money. Bloody hell, that's a weird joke, innit? Christ almighty.
Well, listen, Dan, you say that.
What's that? Can Fletcher wear the Ozzy Owl costume from now on till the loan ends? There you
are.
So
you want a rusty trombone from Ashley Fletcher?
Wow, we've taken an odd turn. What about prediction, Ash?
I'm gonna go 2-1 Wednesday. 2-1 Wednesday.
2-1 Wednesday. So every 2-1, 2-1, 2-0. I think it might be 2-0 as well. I think we're going to score a couple of goals. I think Ugbo's going to bag. Gassama's looking lively. Masaba looks great. Paveda's been the missing piece we needed. And as a result of Paveda holding the ball and playing the ball like he does, we've got a better Barry Bannon as well, because he's now, when Barry Bannon doesn't trust the players around him, he tries to do too much. And we've discussed that a million times on this show. So, what's that? What we got there from Karen, Ash?
It's £5 off a home ticket. That's if you're a member. No badges or anything these days.
Don't even get a pin badge. I tell you what, you got with the bloody Beano badge. You even got a fluffy Nasher badge. You know what I mean? We had googly eyes and everything. We all had that. Is there a question about last man standing? Did I see that?
Go on. Can I just? Sorry. Right, the hands are off. Just for clarity, Robbo 014 has asked, from the 8th of March, there's only 10 fixtures left. Will the LMS roll into next season? Absolutely. We're hopeful that it will finish this season. We know that we're a little bit sort of close to the wire. Some of these things do go long, but please be assured that we are, as I said, we're a transparent podcast, nothing to hide. We're accountable for everything that we do. We will be here next season. Two of us will be here next season. That one there and that one there. And if the rest of us get invited back, we'll be around. So whatever happens, we'll keep things going, and we'll do the best we can. We're hoping. Imagine it being the last game of the season, and you pick Sheffield Wednesday in the last man standing
away at Sunderland.
And we win in the 95th minute with a Pavida overhead kick.
I'd be happy with that. Martin Beebe's gone with 1-0 Wednesday, Masaba scoring the goal. And to round things off, we're going to go with regular poster Slappy Gilmore. He's gone with, I've heard Danny's appealing Ashley Fletcher sending off and trying to extend his ban to 15 games.
Thanks a lot for that was appalling. We didn't mention it, but that was Ashley Fletcher. Oh my God.
I actually didn't see it.
Oh, well.
I didn't see the first one. I just saw him trudging off. And when you're that guy in the crowd going, has he just sent him off? I sounded like that geezer from the You've Got No Authority Here, Jackie Weaver, going, she's kicked him out. You know how I'm going, he sent him off. What was the first one for?
It was a foul, and then he just kicked the ball away, which yellow card, and then another yellow card, kicking ball away. You know that rule that they brought in for the first 2 weeks of the season? That you kick the ball away, you got a yellow card, and they haven't done it for God knows how long. And then they've done it twice. I think Ashley Fletcher got a yellow card, and then one of the Millwall players got one for kicking ball away as well.
Sweet shine.
Everything's aligning in our favour. That's it. Everything is aligning in our favour.
What, losing one of his strikers for a game?
Losing that striker.
Yeah.
God, you absolute wrong-uns.
Just a couple of quick ones before we wrap it up as well.
John's done more homework.
The rumour mill.
I read today that Dominic Iofa is close to a return. He's back in training. And,
I genuinely thought you were about to say he's close to retirement. I was like, he's only
no. So I think he's a player that we'll need in the running. I think he's a good player to have coming back. And also, I think it was possibly one of the Star articles that they put up, and Danny Roll saying that Barry Bannon will be back next season. So does he know something we don't about next season? So go check it out.
Bannon's coming back.
He did plan to run him over in his car. He's decided against it because he played so well at Millwall, so he's coming back. Listen, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. Thank you everybody for the comments you've sent this evening. Don't forget to ring the bell and press the subscribe button. In the meantime, from myself, Stevie, Ash, and John, see you later.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport, powered by fans.
It's a goal! What a goal! It's absolutely world class from Marcus Tunde.
Johnson puts it in the air. Aidan Flynn wins the goal! It's still with Lee Gregory. He's in the box. Tries to screw him. Is it going to be there? Yes! Oh my word!